Hello. Another week has gone by since my last video, and that means another trip to go and see my dad. And as ever, another gift. This time, he has brought me, or he's given me, to bring home a clock. Another common repair that we'd get into a repair cafe, sort of battery-powered clocks. Maybe not as big as this one. This clock, the clock itself works, but the pendulum is not swinging. I've not had a look at this at all, so I'm going to get into it, see what I can find, and see if I can fix it. Well, it's a bit of a beast, quite a lot. Um, not quite sure it can all fit onto my desk. Also, the catch on the side is broken, so maybe I can do something about that as well. Not quite sure how that works, but let's have a look to see. Now, I did change the batteries in this for my dad a while ago, but even with the new batteries in there, it's still not swinging the pendulum. If I remember correctly, I should be able to pull the clock face forward somehow, and it swings out and allows me to get to the workings of it. I don't quite like the way that that's, I guess it's not meant to do that. That's actually a glass front, it's not plastic. So that's quite heavy. I'm sure somehow the clock face, there we go, that moves across. Right, okay, so the pendulum is a completely separate mechanism to the clock itself. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more for you. What's the best one to show you? Maybe I can just do a little bit closer than that. Oh gosh. So that's closed over. Right, you can see in here, we've got the battery part for the clock at the back. So we've got all this that is for the clock itself, and it's ticking away quite nicely and keeping time. Then we've got the pendulum element at the bottom, and we could already see at the close-up cam, we can already see in there, there's a bit of corrosion on the battery. So that's the smoking gun. Let's have a quick look to see if that is causing the issue. So maybe if I switch across to the multimeter and just measure to see if there is any voltage getting through. Now, best way to do this, put the multimeter onto volts DC. So that one, the one with the wavy line is alternating current. And then the one with the sort of straight line and dashed line underneath is direct current. And batteries are direct current. So if I place up, I'm placing these on the terminals of the actual device itself, because if I place it on the battery, I'm bound to get a reading. But if I place it on the terminals, that will tell me if the voltage from the battery is actually going into the appliance itself. So you can see on the multimeter there, we're not getting an awful lot. Now, if I do it on the battery directly, also not getting an awful lot. So maybe it's just as simple as a dead battery. So I did change the batteries for my dad, but I used the batteries that he gave me. Smoking gun number 2, dead battery. Let's give this a little test. Yeah, the battery is absolutely flat. Let's see if I can hold it on a bit closer. Yeah, there's not even 0.1 of a volt in there. I think I've got some batteries in my kit. Like, when I do Repair Cafe, I always charge up some rechargeable batteries to take with me. The amount of time that people come in and say such and such doesn't work, and they swear that the batteries are absolutely fine. I haven't charged these for a while, because it's been quite a long time since last Repair Cafe. Let's see if we've got some voltage in there. 1.34 volts. It's a little bit low, but we will give it a try. Got to be really careful with that because that is very heavy, and these hinges aren't exactly the most robust looking hinges in the world. I'll just pop this in. Now let's test on the terminals again. See if any voltage is getting to the terminals. It's a bit flaky, isn't it? What I might do is see if I can clean the terminals anyway. Is that just rapidly going down? It is, isn't it? Is that the battery? Is the battery actually going down? No, the battery's full. Terminals are not picking up the voltage anyway. Right, so what I might do is just take this out of the frame, make it a little bit easier to work on this. So let me just move this over because I need to get into my tool chest. Let's see if we can switch across. I don't know if you can see, but I have a drawer full of tools. Got a chest with lots of different bits and bobs on the side. My desk's definitely straining with the weight. One day, when I'm rich, I will invest in a more robust desk. But if I do have a more robust desk, that probably means I'd have to buy more tools. So it's a never-ending, self-fulfilling money pit. I think the first screwdriver I got out was a little bit underpowered, undersized, oversized. Oh my word! It's been a long week. Saturday today, so not had to go to work today. But my son was playing rugby. He's in the under-16s team. Sadly, they lost, but they really played well today. It was just absolute joy watching them today. Proper put a shift in. There we go, that's loose. Right, let's get that off. Oh, the pendulum comes off as well, that's a bonus. So put that to one side, close that over. So there's some form of magnet thing there. So does that, yeah, so that probably just needs a little piece of metal put there, and then that will hold that shut. Future, just move this out of the way altogether. Right, let's have a closer look of what's going on with this. Cool, I actually heard it crunch when I took the battery out, so that's not a very good sign. Let's bring the close-up cam in. Switch up the views for you. So yeah, that's mega crusty in there. Like the other side's not too bad. So I'm not quite sure how this works. It looks like there may be a magnet at this end, and then an electromagnet there, I guess. And I guess there's something that oscillates the magnetic charge, which draws the magnet towards, probably switches off, lets it swing, draws it towards again. So I'm guessing that's how it works. How can I get to this contact a bit better? Let's get this tape off and see what's going on. Right, okay. So we've got a couple of wires in the back that go to those terminals. I wonder if there's good connections between those wires and the terminals. Right, let's get rid of that piece of tape. It's only a guess if that's how it works, but it seems reasonable. Now these mats, you'll see loads of repairers using these types of mats, but they're incredibly useful to make sure you don't lose your screws, but also because you've got so many of these sorts of little boxes at the top, it also means that you can keep track of the screws as you're sort of taking them out, and you know what order you've taken them out, and you've got a better chance of remembering how they go back in. Okay, right, can I lift this out of the way without breaking it? No, it doesn't move much more than that. Let's see, does this wiggle off? Ooh. Is that crusty in there? I'm not sure. So there's a capacitor in there. Now, can I wiggle this circuit board out to have a little look? I have to take this swing mechanism off because it's just in the way, really. Technically, this should be video number 4, because video number 3 is me trying to fix a switch mode power supply, but I'm not getting very far with that. So this will end up being video 3, and hopefully the switch mode power supply will be a success soon. The video itself for the power supply is probably could be an hour to 2 hours long, so I'm not sure people actually want to watch anything that long. But I quite like the idea of showing a video where I've really struggled. I really have difficulty with power supplies, so I think it's good to show that it's quite easy to struggle with these things. Okay, let's just check the resistance between the contacts and where the cables are actually soldered onto the board. Is that the right one? So that's a very low resistance reading, which is good. And come across this one to stay still. Put that on there. Ooh. Well, it's low if I get it right in there. So that's quite good. So why wasn't it very happy before? Okay, let's pop the battery back in. See what reading we get on the wires if I measure the voltage at the wires. It may just be dirty and it needs a clean and it's a bit temperamental. So that's measuring 1.3 volts. Oh, and then there we go. It's dropped off straight away. So if I wiggle the battery, you can see there it's it changes up and down. So definitely something needs to be cleaned on the contacts. I'm just wondering, is the spring making a good connection with the contact itself? Okay, do I have some vinegar? Vinegar's a really, really, really good cleaner. But I know that my bottle of vinegar's down in the shed because I was using it for another project that I've got going on. Oh, here we go, a little bottle of vinegar. So in my repair kit, I keep lots of different solvents. Vinegar is brilliant for, everyone calls it like battery acid, but it's not, it's an alkali. So we just need to get a little brush and then give it a bit of a scrub. Hopefully we're good. So yeah, that's an alkaline that's all sort of crusted up in there. The vinegar, being an acid, will neutralise it and clean it off. And then once we've done that, I'll give it a clean with some isopropyl alcohol, or you'll hear it called IPA by a lot of repairers. This is going to be quite fiddly. Does the wire come off as well now? Oh, right, okay, well, there's another issue. The wire was obviously hanging on for dear life, so if, that will need to be soldered back on. So let's just soak some up into my brush. Oh, I'm going to get vinegar everywhere. Everything's going to stink now. Never mind. Let's see if I can get that on camera. You can already see that it's cleaning up quite nicely. Let's move the vinegar out of the way before we have spillage. Nice clean in there. Can you see it's already taking quite a lot off? I'm using my iPhone for a close-up cam, but I have absolutely no idea how it chooses what it's focusing on. I think it's trying to be too clever for its own good. So I need to find another camera that I can use to do close-ups. I just bought some, what are they called? OBS cameras. One for my desk view and one for my profile view. They're quite good. Been really impressed with them so far. All this recording on YouTube, I'm still very much learning how to do it, what to do. Try not to get into editing too much because of one, I don't have an awful lot of time, so I'd rather spend my time actually repairing and talking through the repairs. And two, I guess I'm inherently lazy as well. I don't want to be spending all my time messing about making things look pretty when we all know repairs are never straightforwards, as you'll see if you take the time to watch my switch mode power supply video. Hopefully there's some bits in there that can teach people, and hopefully I do actually fix it. But I think the last thing that I'm going to do on that, I've got a new part on order, but if that doesn't fix it, then I think I'll call it a day. Right, okay, so that's looking very shiny. Should I just give the other contact a bit of a clean? I'll dry this off with some kitchen towel, but I will give it a proper clean later on in the sink. Just get rid of any vinegar, because the last thing you want is to leave the vinegar on there. It's surprisingly strong. You know, it won't dissolve your hands if you spill it on there, but it could irritate. And if you leave it on the battery contacts, it'll probably eat away at the nickel plating that's on there. So let's just give it a bit of a dry so we can give it a test. Oh, it stinks. Very pungent. Right, okay, that's looking good. To clean up some of those bits off my mat as well. Do have a backlog of repairs, so hopefully I can keep videos posted every week. That's clean, everything absolutely humdinks. Right, okay, what is going on here? Oh, look at that vinegar all over the little board. Great. Let's give that a wipe. So yeah, you can see there's a little transistor on there, so it's probably that just switches it on and off. Let's just see if we can just take a little bit off the end of this wire. There's not an awful lot of wire to play with, which is moderately annoying. Ah, right, okay, so classic. So if I switch across to my microscope and then maybe I can show you what I've just seen. This is a telltale sign of corrosion getting through. So let's switch across. Right, okay, so let's see if we can get this in focus for everyone. Where are you? it's quite dark, so I need to hold it a bit closer to the lens. Right, okay, hopefully you can see that now. You can see the wire is relatively dark, so quite a classic sign that some corrosion has gotten onto there. It sort of travelled up the wire, and then it's a bit of green on there as well. So there's definitely been a battery leak which has caused issues. You see a little bit of green on there, you see the copper. Because the wire's so short, I think what I'll do is I will get some sandpaper and clean the wire down. So let's just switch the cameras back. I just have to look in the back of my tool chest because I've got a little bit of sandpaper back there. See if I can scrub off some of the corrosion. What I'll do, I'll tin the wire, which means put a little drop of solder on the wire itself before I try to solder it onto the circuit board. And the reason why you do that is just makes it a million times easier for the wire to stick to the solder. I don't know if you can see, but the wire is shiny. Difficult to see on the camera, but it's shiny. You can see a little bit of copper on there now. Right, let's close this vinegar. Well, actually, I'll just put it behind me to make sure I won't knock it over because I need to get the vinegar out the top of the cap. So use that to dispense vinegar. Right, so just get a bit of flux, a little bit of solder. So teeny bit of flux onto the end. You don't need a lot for this. Bring my soldering iron over. I do need to replace my tip of my soldering iron. Look at that, it's all pitted. I have the replacement here, and yet for some bizarre reason I never change it. Maybe I'll treat myself next video. Okay, so if I just drop a little blob of solder onto the actual soldering iron so that it's nice and hot, tap the end of the wire, you see that the plastic melts, but that will just get a little bit of solder onto the wire itself. Then again, just get the board, little bit of flux onto the board. Now, this is going to be tricky because you need about 15 pairs of hands to do this. So somehow just need to try to hold that against the board. If I switch around, maybe I'll get my tweezers. For soldering, I always use my ceramic tweezers. Reason being is that ceramic tweezers don't conduct the heat as much as metal tweezers, and that means it doesn't conduct away the heat. And if it doesn't conduct away the heat, it means the heat will stay on the solder itself. Is there something I can pop this board on just to raise it up just a fraction? Pop it on top of this brush. There we go. Another clean the soldering iron and then pop it on. to clean this solder on this board altogether so it's not melting. Right, let's just get this melted at least once so we can see if it's going to play ball or not. Might need to take some of this solder off. There it goes, melted. Okay, it's taken a bit of it away. See if we can turn this around and do it this way. Oh, this is fiddly. Is there any other way? No, because it needs to stay through the... If I turn it up like that. See how much easier the solder melts now that I've got it to melt once. Oh, that's nice and solid. Will that stay on? That's the question. So, no, it won't. Oh, you absolute swine. Right, is there some other way I can hold this board? I do have a little Omnivice. Absolutely brilliant these are. Not exactly cheap. They're like 60 quid for one of these, but it's solid metal. It has this grip at the top. I was very skeptical about it when I got it, but I saw someone raving about it on YouTube. It makes life so much easier. Brilliant for clamping little boards like this. Right, so now if I... Okay, so that's relatively good. Let's give that a clean. I need a bit more flux to get it to flow up the wire. This is the problem when your wire has been dirty. Solder doesn't want to flow onto the wire itself. Actually, that's nice and solid. I'm giving it a bit of a tug there, and it's not coming off. So let's take this, the Omnivice. I would like to get more, but there's many things on my wish list at the moment, so more Omnivices is probably not the priority. So let's see if that goes back down. Okay, that feels like it's solid where it is. Just having a look, and there's a little bit of gunk on the... It's just some paper on the contact where just a little bit fibres from paper on the contact. There's still a bit of green in there, but the important thing is just to make sure that there's contacts going in. Let's try this battery again. Let's do some measuring. Maybe I shouldn't put the board back in. Let's switch to, so you can see what's going on. Let's move the microscope out of the way and turn that off. Okay, right, so let's just try the contact on the actual thing itself. There we go, got a good reading. It's solid, it's not moving anywhere. I will take the board out and actually check it on the contacts on the board, just to make sure. Go. I've got the probes, the multimeter back to front, which is why you got a negative reading. So if I just switch that over, there we go. Nice. Right. Let's just turn that off and switch back to the full desk and move that camera out of the way. So have a little bit of a tidy up, because it's never good to have stuff all over your desk when you're trying to work. Put those away. Oh, I need to wash that brush because it some dinks. Need those. Put this away and my flux away, and then we can start reassembling and see if it works. I might have to go and get a better charged battery over there, because that needs washing as well. Go to my tweezers. Right, let's just take that out whilst we're reassembling. So that had to have the magnet facing down. A pendulum type thing goes on there with that on top. So no, it's not that piece, is it? So that goes there. That's interesting. So that's catching a bit now. Is it catching a bit? Or maybe it's just the angle of the way it's there. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, right. Get these bits popped back in. Oh, come on. Why are you not going in? Ah, there we go. Still sounds like there's a little bit of rubbing going on there. Not massive, but may require a little bit of persuasion later on. Let's get these in. Will it work without the pendulum on? Right, let's try this rechargeable battery first, see what happens. Oh, it seems to be working. That would drive me mad if that's in my lounge, but Maybe it won't make that clicking noise so much when it's actually got the pendulum on. So that looks like it's working. Let's just see which of these batteries are the good batteries. It may have been that did put a good battery in there, but with the corrosion, etc., it wasn't working, it just drained the battery. So that's got nothing. So that's a good battery. That's a moderately good battery. That's poorly battery, so I'll just pop that on the side so I can take that to the tip next time I go. Turn that off. Right, let's go and get the bigger desk picture. See if we can reassemble this all together. Right. Let me just wipe up that little bit finger because it's annoying me. Let's move those out of the way. Omnivoids out of the way. I need these two little screws, so let's move that up there. So somewhere rest that. So let's bring this machine forwards that there. It's better. Okie dokie. Right, where did that go? It's like that, I think. Oh, you swine. So I think I'm going to put the better charged, not charged, but the better battery into the pendulum itself. And then I'll put the less good battery in the other one. I'll put better batteries in later on. I need to see which orientation it needs to go into the clock itself. Gosh, this is a bit cumbersome. Let's put that there. Oh my word. Right, let's switch around. Where's my mouse? I should put my laptop into sleep so I can't see now. God. That's ticking. Right, where's my mouse? There we go. Did the pendulum swing because I've knocked it, or is it swinging because... So we'll turn around slowly. It's all a bit... See if I can zoom this camera out so you can see what's happening. Zoomed out as much as it can. I'll take the tracking off. There we go. It's only a gentle motion. I'll keep watching that for 10 minutes or so. But yeah, I think that's a successful fix. So here I am hiding behind the clock. But yeah, I'll call that a fix. I'll give it a proper clean after the video, and also put better batteries in there, and then I can ship it off to my dad. But there we go, job done. Another fix, another thing saved from landfill, and yeah, a happy dad, I think. Brilliant. Bye.